In this video, you will learn all about the birth of Buddhism, its practices and beliefs, and much more. In 583 BC, Siddhartha Gautama was born into a wealthy family. He was a Himalayan prince of a land called Sakya in Nepal. His father preferred him to be a great military leader rather than a religious leader, for those were his two predicted destinies. He kept Siddhartha in great luxury and really vague in religion. At age 29, he was still inexperienced with the land outside his palace. One day, he decided to go on a carriage ride through the countryside. He was shocked to see aged men, sick men, and dead men. He now realized the horror of death and disease. He lived his life in a palace a little longer, but did not enjoy the fact that he was living a luxurious life while many people were diseased and dying. Not even the birth of his own child made him happy. He eventually decided that he could no longer live a prince's life. So he left the palace, shaved his head, switched his clothes for a poor man's robe, and went out to find enlightenment. He and 5 disciples traveled all over India in search of help. He found several religious teachers who taught how to meditate and other things, but Siddhartha still had his doubts. This forced him to go to find enlightenment on his own. Finally, in the town of Gaya, he went into deep meditation, and in it he broke into a fierce battle with Mara, a demon who means destruction and passions that deceive us. She sent great armies to attack Siddhartha, but he was left untouched. Mara then sent her most beautiful daughter to try to seduce him, without success. Finally, she gave up and gave him the seat to enlightenment. Siddhartha Gautama had now become the Buddha. The Buddha had to teach all about what he had learned and how to reach enlightenment. It was difficult, though, because what he would teach could not be taught using direct words. He thought of the Four Noble Truths, which is the key to many things in life, including enlightenment. The truth of suffering is the first one, which means life is suffering. We always try to make ourselves satisfied by giving ourselves more, especially when we are angry or frustrated, but we are never truly satisfied by this. The truth of the cause of suffering is the second one, which means suffering is caused by craving or attachment. When we suffer, it is because we want something that we don't have, or when we have something that we don't want. The truth to the end of suffering is the third, which means that suffering is attainable or escapable. There is always a way to end suffering. The fourth is the truth to the path to the end of suffering. This path is called the Eightfold Path. You must have the right view, or know what is going on inside and outside of us. You must have the right intention, or what your thoughts are to do. These are very important because they control what your actions are. You need the right speech, which affects the communication and understanding between others and ourselves to help lead the right way. You need the right actions, or the ability to not put selfishness into our actions and to act mindfully. You need the right livelihood, which means you need to be able to make a living that does not compromise the 5 precepts, which you will learn later. You need the right effort, which means you need to be able to get rid of or prevent evil qualities, as well as gain or build up skillful or cheerful qualities. You need the right mindfulness, or be fully aware of the present moment and stay focused. And lastly, but not least, you need the right concentration, or the ability to focus all concepts into one mental or physical area. The right view, intention, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration are the Eightfold Path, and are the path to end suffering. Buddhists are also taught the precepts, and many people believe in different precepts. Some believe in 3, 5, 10, or 16 precepts, but the most basic of them are the 5 precepts. The first one is do not kill, which is pretty self-explanatory. The second is do not steal. Of course, this means do not take valuables from others without their permission, but this also includes taking advantage of people, like using their resources for your own good. The third precept is respect each other. The fourth is do not lie, meaning do not make false statements, as well as do not intend to deceive. It is not a violation if you make a false statement and you truly believe it is true. However, if you don't try to confirm your statement, then true or not, then you are not practicing the fourth precept. The final precept is avoid action that is harmful to your mind or body. This means do not drink, smoke, and especially do not do drugs. Drinking liquor is not nearly as offensive to the precepts as selling it, because you are harming others instead of yourself. The Four Noble Truths are the are the key to many things, including nirvana. Nirvana can be thought of the Buddhist version of heaven. The Buddha, however, said that you cannot picture nirvana, so I cannot describe it for you. Some think of it simply as a form of peace that is normally felt when you die. Karma is very important to Buddhists. It is when you do a good deed, you will be rewarded. The intentional speech, action, and mind create and affect karma. If karma is started, it continues in several different ways. For example, if someone gets you mad, then you might yell at someone else because you are in a bad mood, or you might do something mean to another. The person you offend may be in a bad mood and then do something to someone else. It continues on for a long time. This is very similar to the second truth, the truth to the cause of suffering, because you are suffering from anger. Like many religions, many Buddhists have their diets based on Buddhism. Some Buddhists, however, will eat meat while others will not. Some are vegetarians because of the first precept, do not kill. These people believe that you should refuse to eat meat if it was killed specifically for eating purposes. If the animal was killed for another purpose, then it is okay to have the leftovers, because it did not suffer for our purposes. They believe that it is okay to eat fruits and vegetables because plants do not suffer. Plants do not have nervous systems, therefore they cannot feel pain. Other Buddhists claim that it's okay to eat meat because you must also think of your family, who are healthy when they eat meat. If you are a Buddhist, you should consider the products you use and buy were made from suffering. Unfortunately, we live by killing. We kill trees to get lumber for houses or firewood to keep warm. We harm our environment by releasing smoke and other waste into our atmosphere and waters. Because of this, Buddhists should just be able to realize these and be able to avoid them as much as possible. Most Buddhist houses have flowers and candles, some incense, a small bowl for drinking water, and most importantly, a picture of the Buddha. They do not have any pictures of gods, for Buddhists do not believe in any gods. The Buddha taught that you must not idolize anyone or anything, and you shouldn't accept any sacred texts on blind faith, for they are not absolute truth.